Good afternoon, everyone. Hope things are well. Apologies for the background. Basically, I'm on the train going back up to Newcastle. I'm not actually on the toilet, by the way. I'm just sitting here so I could do this video today. And it's ironic that we're sitting on the toilet because we're talking about Dan Ashworth, someone who, yeah, I don't like. It's probably the nicest way of putting it. But it's been reported, according to the Athletic, that after 5 months at Manchester United, Dan Ashworth has left. He's not happy, so he's left. I mean, where have we heard this one before? He's already left Manchester United less than half a year into his job. And I don't want to be that guy to the Manchester United fans that said, I told you so, but I told you so. You can't trust this guy at all. He left Gordon Lee from Brighton to go to Newcastle. Felt like it was an upgrade. Was at Newcastle with a big project. But basically ditched just on the spot to go to Manchester United. He felt like it was a bigger project. Guess what? He's not happy there, and already he's out of the football club. That brings a great smile to my face, because listen, I've got nothing personal against staff members who have been in Newcastle who wanted to go elsewhere. That's fine. I did not like the way Dan Ashworth left. He's truly screwed Newcastle over. When in his own interest to go to a club that he felt like he would get a better opportunity at, and he's not happy again. So it can't be Newcastle, it can't be Man Utd, it can't be Brighton, it can't be all of these different clubs where he's not happy at. I think it's a lot about you. It's not about the clubs, it's you, Dan. You. But yeah, normally, because of the fact that Newcastle have been so bad at the minute, I don't normally feel like we as Newcastle fans in this situation can honestly come out and laugh that much, but yeah, in this case I feel like it was appropriate, because Newcastle had such an awful summer window. I know Paul Mitchell came in during the window, but you got to remember Newcastle still had to recover from losing Dan Ashworth. He was supposed to be part of our long-term project, and yes, we can criticise the club for a lot of things on and off the pitch, but there wasn't much they could have done about Dan Ashworth. I felt like the club done the best that they could. Of course, Manchester United paid money for Dan Ashworth. That's the funny part as well. Manchester United actually paid money for this guy. According to Newcastle sources, between £2 to £3 million. Over £10 million according to Newcastle sources, and then there was the £2 to £3 million between the Manchester sources. So regardless of which one's factual, Manchester United have paid millions of pounds bringing Dan Ashworth. Man Utd fans were bragging on social media. They were properly sticking it to Newcastle, which is why in this video I kind of felt like it was appropriate just to come out and perhaps give a little bit back, because I remember the Man Utd fans, they did rip Newcastle a new one when they got Dan Ashworth, and they were cocky, they were in our faces, they were saying about how Dan Ashworth was going to revolutionise Manchester United, he was going to take into that next step. Well, yeah, well, put your money where your mouth is, because what has Dan Ashworth done for Manchester United? What has he done?
Welcome aboard. This is the 9:22.
Interrupting me. Interrupting me when I'm talking about Dan Ashworth. I'm not done talking about Dan Ashworth just yet. I mean, what an absolute state of a situation that is now. Newcastle, we are in a state at the minute. We are in the heap at the minute on the pitch, but even off the pitch, we're not that much of a disaster. We do have Paul Mitchell, and we do have, once the window opens, I like to hope that we have a structure for our new director of football. But Dan Ashworth is a big part of why Newcastle is actually in the mud at the minute. He's not the only issue, there's a lot of other issues, and don't take it as an excuse of why Newcastle are underperforming now. But Dan Ashworth is legitimately one of the reasons why Newcastle is struggling now, because our summer transfer window was delayed and halted because of this shenanigans going on behind the scene. Not to mention some of the claims that newspaper articles were making that Dan Ashworth was using these Newcastle United email to contact clubs, which was in breach of his contract. So even when he's at Newcastle, he wasn't there in the club's best interest. He always thought about himself. Like, I get that he obviously has to take care of his family. I get that, but Newcastle was treating him quite well. I like to hope that Newcastle was doing a good job with him. Such a massive project to be at, and he felt like he was bigger than the club, felt like Man Utd was the move for him, and yeah, 5 months later he's already out of Manchester United. So what does that say about him? I think it speaks of volumes about Dan Ashworth, and I don't think this is a Newcastle versus a Man Utd thing versus a Brighton thing, or whichever team he decides to go to next, but this is a Dan Ashworth thing. This guy shouldn't be anywhere near these Premier League clubs. Doesn't come across as the most trustworthy person. I'm not going to lie, I've only met him a couple of times. I couldn't speak on a week by week basis of being Dan Ashworth, but his resume speaks for himself. Doesn't stick around jobs very often. He's left 2 major projects in the space of a year, and for employers and for our Premier League clubs, that's got to raise massive red flags. And I'm very surprised he's left Manchester United this early, even if he wasn't happy at the football club. And it just goes to show them the lack of respect that he showed towards Newcastle, because he felt like, you know, Manchester United was going to be a much bigger job for him, a much better project. Well, again, in hindsight, I felt like he missed a massive opportunity in Newcastle, and I'm telling you now, yes, so I don't think Dan will ever admit out in person. I don't think he'll ever say in an interview, but Dan Ashworth will regret leaving Newcastle United. I think he's already regretted leaving Newcastle United, because he just wouldn't leave Manchester United unless he felt like the last job he was at was just so much better, and he feels like Manchester United's not giving him what he wants. So there's not much more I need to say, to be honest. His time in the Premier League, I like to hope it's done. I don't know what he's going to do next. I've had any guesses. I reckon he'll try and go back to the national team. Maybe he might try and do something outside the Premier League. I like to hope he's not going to go to another Premier League club. Surely none of these clubs in this league are just going to keep putting their hands out for Dan Ashworth and just bending over for Dan Ashworth, because he doesn't deserve these jobs. But all I'm going to say, he's left 2 massive clubs in the space of a year. Not a trustworthy individual, and yeah, I'm not normally going to kind of come out in the best individual, because again, he has to look at his best interests. But the way he left Newcastle, for me, it's just unforgivable. The way he left Newcastle, I didn't like it at all. Got massively lost lack of respect about it, and Manchester United fans were big towards Newcastle about it. They were big. So yeah, the fact that they've been kind of shut up a little bit makes me happy. But speaking of shutting up, I don't think Newcastle got much to talk about this weekend. You need to be quiet, by the way. But Newcastle haven't got much to talk about, because we've been that bad over the last few weeks. And my birthday is tomorrow. Overnight stay vlog will be out tomorrow. An hour-long video of just me being in absolute misery. Honestly, the worst travel experience I've ever had last week. This week was a bloody nightmare as well. So I'm sure you guys will enjoy my misery. But in terms of that, that'll be tomorrow. This is now, though. I wasn't expecting to make a video today, but Dan Ashworth has left Manchester United after 5 months, and I just have to say that's hilarious. That is actually quite funny. So yeah, his loss. Again, because we've got money for him, so I would say it is Newcastle United's game, and I would say that despite all the stuff going on with Newcastle in the background, this is still a plus. This is still a plus. So yeah, I'm gonna call it quits now, because I've been sitting on the toilet for 8 minutes. I'm a bit worried, so I need to go in shortly. But yeah, apologies for anyone waiting outside to use this loo, but I have my word to say. And speaking of loo, Dan Ashworth feels like it's an appropriate video to be sitting on the toilet with. But yeah, you reap what you sow, Dan. I hope you learn your lesson. And yeah, you left Newcastle because you felt like you were bigger in the club, and how's that turned out for you? And that's my final message I feel like going out of this video. Newcastle 1, Dan Ashworth 0. But yeah, we need to actually win some games on the pitch now. That'll be ideal, boys. But for today, I've at least got something to be happy about.